Hello One Body followers, you haven't heard from us for a while, but myself and Yvonne unfortunately have been contaminated with Covid-19. I myself ended up in hospital for 16 days with viral pneumonia and Covid-19, and Yvonne is currently recovering and in self-isolation, but she hasn't had as bad as I have, thank God. So a couple of things I wanted to do right now, and that was to dispel some of the myths and give some tips for people who have Covid-19 to the extent that they need hospitalisation. Firstly, a couple of things I wanted to get out of the way. There's a video doing the rounds by a Dr. Munchie that's being promoted by J.K. Rowling to help stop you getting coronavirus or what to do when you have it. This video has been dismissed by the Respiratory Association of Physiotherapists in the UK as being dangerous. It talks about forcing coughing and holding your breath. From somebody who's experienced it, it's impossible to control your breathing when you have Covid-19 with pneumonia, because it's extremely difficult to breathe and you have this incessant cough. So forced coughing or holding your breath is impossible, and according to the association in the UK, it's actually dangerous. So please dispel this one. Next, I want to talk to you about gargling. So gargling with salt water. There is no evidence whatsoever to say gargling with salt kills a virus. No evidence whatsoever. There's never been any. There currently exists none to say that salt kills viruses. What you have to remember is Covid-19 is a respiratory tract virus. It goes up your nose or in your mouth, but predominantly up your nose, through your respiratory tract, into your windpipe, and your windpipe down into your lungs. When you breathe into your mouth, or you take something into your mouth, it goes into your mouth and down into your esophagus, where it splits off from your windpipe. So unless you catch something at the exact point that's in your throat at that time, that you get to wash it down into your esophagus, you have no chance of getting rid of it unless you catch it at that exact moment. And even at that is purely hearsay. The other thing is things like honey. Honey is supposedly has antibacterial properties. This is not a bacteria, so it won't affect it in any way, shape or form. Other one that's been talked about is rinsing your mouth out with warm water. So again, it's a virus that is a respiratory tract infection. It's not residing in your mouth, it's not residing in your throat or in your esophagus, it resides in your respiratory tract. So you can rinse all day, it's not going to make any difference. So there's just a couple of the myths that are around. A couple of things that helped me, and again, these are not medical, or medical research, as I say, these are things that actually helped me when I was actually in hospital. Yvonne actually sent me in some cough sweets, and I found cough sweets to be really, really beneficial, because you have this incessant desire to cough, and then you're really struggling to breathe. So as I said earlier on, it's very hard to deep breathe, and when you do try, you get this coughing fit, but the cough sweets really helped. The other thing that helped was cold drinks, and cold fizzy drinks in particular, again because they soothed the back of the throat and helped with symptoms of that urge to cough. And the coldness and the fizziness actually helped ease that tickly throat the whole time. The other things with the cold drinks is they also help bring the temperature down. So this constant or incessant rise in temperature, which actually also brought on the cough, the cold drinks really helped with that also. The only thing that I could really find that helped bring my temperature down was Solpadeine. We tried paracetamol on IV, didn't work for me, and ibuprofen is still questionable. There is something that came out of France that basically said ibuprofen made the situation worse, or the symptoms worse, so that's still under question. So they didn't like using ibuprofen, so Solpadeine was the only thing they used to help bring my temperature down. I suppose lastly was night sweats, and having constant night sweats where you were literally drenched every time you went to fall asleep. So once you started to calm down, relax, fall asleep, within minutes you would be drenched in sweat. So having plenty of nightwear, so pajamas, night dresses, whatever it might be, is having plenty of clothes to keep changing into is also really beneficial. And the other thing is, within hospitals, is the food is pretty bad. So deliveries of salads and fresh fruit, particularly cold fresh fruit, was really, really beneficial. So that's as far as I'm going to take it in terms of my tips and helps for having COVID-19. Over the next few days, I'm going to really have to start kicking in now as my breathing has got a lot better, is recovery in terms of both from a muscular perspective and from a cardiovascular perspective, and start looking at, okay, what steps do we need to take to get back into strength training and cardiovascular training. So we'll talk to you over the next few days.